It was another stiff test Saturday at Colonial. Gusty winds and crisping conditions held scoring in check for most all but one. Eric Cole posting a 63 to reach 12 under par for the tournament. Clear by a couple of a group at 10. Plenty still within striking distance. Worlds of work to be done, but Cole now in striking distance of his first career victory on tour. Post Round is presented by FanDuel, and for that we say hello to Shane Bacon. Instant reaction here, Shane, and there's only one obvious place to start. Those 8 circles for Eric Cole were certainly something on Saturday. 63, moving him from T25 to pole position. 2 top 10s already this season, one at the Zurich, so we'll call it 1.5. You know how I feel about it. What has led us to this moment, and specifically the performance here on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the gain in confidence, to your point, Moose. I mean, what you've seen out of Eric Cole as of late, really since San Antonio, finished in the top 15 there. You mentioned playing in New Orleans with Hank Libiota. They had a great week. And then another top 6 at Myrtle Beach. I mean, he played well really last week at the Byron Nelson. I mean, it wasn't a necessarily a high finish, but consistent 4 days. It feels like the guy is just continuing to gain confidence. I mean, this is his 120th start on the PGA Tour in his career. I would have definitely taken the under when you asked me that number. But for Eric Cole, I mean, a pretty consistent run over the last few years, still looking for that first PGA Tour victory. And I think if you're Eric Cole, you're leaning on this part of the game. The iron play, really, really impressive today, obviously on his way to a really, really low number on a golf course that is firming up and toughening up on Saturday and into Sunday. The one thing that I got to point out, Moose, I didn't love this, was Eric told Amanda in the interview after the round, it's not always easy to follow up a low round with another low round. I'm like, you don't need to say that. That's our job to say that. So we'll see what he can do on Sunday. Probably doesn't need that low of a number if Colonial continues to play like it did today.
Shane, it always makes me happy when I realize we are sharing a bit of a golf brain, because on my sheet right here in quotes, it's going to be hard to back up a good round.
Didn't love it.
Is that a flaw in the golfer's psyche? Is that protecting yourself from maybe the inevitable heartache? Is that sort of building an insurance policy? What is that in the mind of a golfer?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a lot of pros about this kind of philosophy because we love to bring it up, and it's one of the more cliche things you'll hear in professional golf and really across any competitive golf. I think the idea is on a day you go really low, maybe if you're Eric Cole, it starts in the warm-up. He talked about having a great warm-up. Sometimes it starts in a bad warm-up, right? You're going out there, you're hitting all over the place, and you get to the first tee, and somehow you find a new level of focus. But, a lot of low rounds are brought to you by great numbers into greens. All of a sudden, you're playing a couple par 4s in a row, and you've got kind of stock numbers. You've got 140 on the dot, and that's your wedge number. And then throughout the day, the par 3s kind of play into your numbers. Then you get to that next day after shooting that 62 or 63, and you've got a lot of half numbers kind of between clubs the first 5 holes. Rounds typically play out for a number of reasons. I mean, you've got to be playing great golf, but a lot of the time it comes down to excellent numbers, great clubs in, hole locations you like, and then that next day maybe the golf course doesn't look as enticing as it did the day before.
And maybe the other end of that paradox takes us to where my eyes go next. That's being Hideki Matsuyama sitting 3 off the lead, but a bogey and a birdie, 16 pars outside of those 2, almost sets up as he could be our big mover come Sunday. What was the limiting factor here on Saturday, and how do you think that today sets him up for tomorrow?
Moose, I love the idea of flipping the script on our philosophy. It's like if you don't go low the day before, that next day's really when you're going to find it. Hideki's been a guy that when he's kind of bucked a bit this season, the putter is there, right? And we saw it the first day, saw it a little bit on Friday, didn't make nearly as many putts. And really, I mean, for Hideki, it has been an impressive ability to get the ball close from around the greens, but leaning on that putter when you do find more greens in regulation. He only got 13 greens today. You kind of compare that to some of the players near the top of the board. The iron play's got to get a little bit better, and then you got to just make a couple of those 15-footers if you're going to chase the leaders. I mean, this is a golf course that allows you to make the birdies if you put the ball in the right place on these fairways. So I think for Hideki and Colonial, let's find the fairway maybe the first 3-4 holes tomorrow and lean on the iron play and see if a couple of putts will drop.
Yeah, that toe in the air, that bouncy putter, it's always disconcerting when we go to worm camp. We got more coming with Shane Bacon here in just a bit. Let's take another look at that Eric Cole 63. 8 birdies in it, a bogey there at 15 for Cole, who gained nearly 5 shots on approach here Saturday and is in hot pursuit of his first career victory. And for more reaction, it's our pleasure always to take you out to the Super Tower, where lead analyst of golf on CBS, Trevor Immelman, joins us now. Trevor, it's great to be with you, and I do want to get to Cole here in a second, but the star of the show all week has been Colonial, and in this era where some of the classics are getting bludgeoned into wedge contests, this one always seems to keep its teeth. I know the wind was up today, but why is that in your eyes?
Well, I think especially as things start to firm up. I mean, earlier in the week, after all the rain they've had over the last 10 days or so, things were soft. And when the greens are receptive, then it doesn't put so much of a premium on accuracy off of the tee. But now as things have started to firm up, now you really need to hit these fairways, because you do not want to be coming from this juicy Bermuda rough. I mean, it is a real problem for them from a distance control standpoint, Moose. And yeah, you know, the golf course is just, it's always been a great classic. You know, there's enough dog legs to keep guys on their toes. There's enough trees to where if you're on the wrong side of the fairway, you can be blocked out to a whole location that's tucked. It's just a masterpiece. It always has been. And I think Gil Hansen and Jim Wagner, when they went ahead and redesigned, or shall I say refreshed the golf course a couple of years ago, really did a marvelous job of keeping the character of the Colonial that all the greats have loved to play over the years.
Well, we see them giving it a little drink over your shoulder there, but certainly going to be spicy again on Sunday. Let's get to that 63 here. Eric Cole.
Hopefully not too much.
No. That was just a sprinkling I saw there. Just a sprinkling. We should be safe.
Just 63. A sprinkle, Moose. We don't want to get those greens too soft.
Well, it didn't matter what was presented to Eric Cole today. He was taking aim and executing on his opportunities. 63, 7 under par, but 9 shots better than field average on this day. Can you give us a sense of the conditions and how good that 63 is relative to them?
Yeah, so impressive. I mean, like we just touched on, as the wind kicked up and it got a little firmer, the guys really struggled to make birdies. I mean, there were a number of players out there. You look at Jordan Smith in the final pair and didn't make a birdie today, and he started the day with the lead. And so it was tough to get close to the hole and then convert. But Cole did just such a marvelous job. I mean, he's 4 under after his first 8, then he birdies 10 and 11 right after that, and got things going so beautifully, and then chips in on 16. I mean, it's pretty much a flawless round of golf. And you consider the 63 as the lowest round of the tournament. We had a 63 earlier in the week, but when you just isolate today, the next best score was 65, and then after that 67. So he separated himself for sure with a brilliant round of 63. I mean, that, in my book, and I said it during our show, is one of the rounds of the year.
We'll see if he can double down on Sunday, but some names to look at beyond him as well. Eyes go to Matsuyama. I can't take my eyes off of J.J. Spaun either. Seems to be a guy over the last 2 years that his best golf comes out when the test gets harder. Spaun or others, who do you look to down this leaderboard to push Cole on Sunday?
Well, the 3 guys that I'm really keeping my eye on is Spaun, Matsuyama, and Henley. And they all have one thing in common that they're going to need tomorrow. One of those 3, or maybe all 3 of them, if we're looking for a playoff or a really tight finish, is, you know, all of those guys, they've got to find a way to get the putter going. You know, particularly when you think of Spaun and Matsuyama. I mean, that's their bugaboo. I mean, these guys are some of the greatest ball strikers on the planet, but it's all down to their putter. So if they can go out there and really get things rolling and create some momentum and get some leaderboard pressure on Cole, who's never won on the PGA Tour before, that's when things start to get really interesting. And we'll have a fun second 9 and close to this tournament. I mean, it's such a great grouping of finishing holes. You look at 16 and 17, how tough they were playing today. Shucks, I'd throw 15 in there as well. You know, 15 and 17 were really showing their teeth today as the 2 toughest holes in the golf course. So you're really going to have to earn this win to be able to pick up that beautiful trophy and put on that plaid jacket after getting the win. So I think we're in store for a great Sunday.
It's been a worthy test since the 40s. We can't wait to see what Sunday holds. Trevor Immelman going to be on the call, and we can't wait to talk to you after. Thank you, Trev. And don't forget all the coverage coming your way beginning at 3 Eastern Time. Final round action on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. It's the Charles Schwab Challenge, post-round reaction, right here on CBS Sports HQ. Plenty more to come here on HQ post-round. Nice shooting, Tex. None nicer than Eric Cole. Highlights and further reaction next. Quite a third round for Eric Cole, who still in search of his first career victory on the PGA Tour. Chips in here, one of 8 birdies on the day for Cole, who is quite comfy in this DFW Metroplex. He's one shot clear of Ryan Gerard, who birdies the last to get to 11. It'll be Gerard, Mac Meisner, and Eric Cole in your final grouping as they go off in threes Sunday on CBS. Shane Bacon back with reaction, and we got to go right back to the top here at that 12 under number. And I want to frame the same question I just asked Trevor a bit differently to you. Colonial always seems to show its teeth. I was looking at last year, it was 12 under for our guy Ben Griffin, who walks away the winner. I think we saw, 8 posted on Thursday, 7 posted on Thursday, and scoring comes back into check. When you look at the test that it presents to players like Eric Cole, do you think there's another low number in the field tomorrow, or can Cole have a number in his head, something more reasonable that you think that gets it done?
I mean, I think this golf course, and I think the beauty of the great classic designs, to your point, Moose, is there's always a low number in play. I mean, outside of 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds, if you golf your ball, you can shoot 64 at Colonial. If you don't golf your ball, you can make a boatload of bogeys. We saw that in that final grouping today. I mean, I think, again, when you think about what makes great architecture great, it's that every hole's a birdie hole or a bogey hole if you don't hit a great shot off the tee or don't hit a great second shot. And to me, that's kind of the definition of Colonial. I mean, this is the golf course I used to go to as a kid and watch it, and I thought all of the courses on the PGA Tour were like this. Unfortunately, they are not. But this is what you love. I mean, if you're a golf nerd or a golf nut, you want a place where, again, you put it in the right side of fairways and you find a whole bunch of greens and the putter gets relatively hot. You can shoot 5, 6 under on Sunday, no matter how tucked the hole locations are. And I think if you get out of position, you can struggle to break par. And I think we'll see both of those things happen over the course of the final 5 groupings come Sunday.
It feels like a place where all is still just and good. Good shots are rewarded, bad shots are punished, and not a whole lot in between. It was plenty of reward for Eric Cole. Again, a sterling 63. Trevor Immelman calls it one of the rounds of the year thus far. I want to go down to J.J. Spaun. Your thoughts on a player here who, I don't think emerged is the right word because it's been sustained success over these last 2 years, but it is a player that seems to buck when the test gets harder. We know the putter is the limiting factor for Spaun, but how big of a role does he play on Sunday in your eyes?
I mean, I think he plays a huge role. I think you nailed it. I mean, I wrote down some of the golf courses, Joe, to your point on him playing tough golf courses this morning. I mean, Sawgrass last year obviously gets himself in contention, loses in a playoff. He's won twice at San Antonio, a golf course that can beat anybody up no matter how good they're hitting it coming into that week. Oakmont, Doral, Quail Hollow this year. It feels like the tougher the golf course, the more J.J. Spaun embraces it. And I think that is a more rarity these days than it is what pros do well. I love the guys that can go out there and mud it up when the golf course is difficult. If I'm J.J. Spaun, I want Colonial to play as tough as possible. I want that golf course to be firm and fast tomorrow with that rough deep because I know that plays into my hands. You mentioned the putter. It was ice cold to start the year. It has continued to heat up and improve throughout the season. And I think J.J. Spaun looks at tomorrow as an opportunity. Let's have another 2-win season. Let's go into a U.S. Open at another historic and very difficult golf course with a boatload of momentum because J.J. Spaun, to me, is the type of player, not to say he's going to do it, but I think he's the type of player with the type of game right now that could contend and potentially win back-to-back U.S. Opens. 2
Valeros and a Chuck, potentially. We might have to send him out there in like the Sabatini cowboy hat, maybe a big belt buckle.
He's going to live in Texas forever, yeah.
Own in Texas. You got to love that lack of state tax. I want to take you down to 7 here. Really interesting group at 7 under par, 5 back of this lead. I don't know in your eyes if that is still in play, but if we're looking for a low number that a place like Colonial sometimes presents, Ludwig, JT, Gary Woodland, Akshay Harmon. Can I interest you in any of those names, Shane Bacon?
I mean, I like all of them. You know, I'm interested in them. I don't think they can
Big
win.
fan.
I think they're just too far back.
Okay.
I mean, even if, you got to think about what the number out there is available. If you go out and shoot 7 under like Eric Cole did today and you're at 7 under, then you're at 14 under to end the tournament. That means a Spaun or a Mac Meisner needs to go out there and shoot 4 under, which is very doable, obviously. You're gonna really need everybody above you to not play a solid round of professional golf. So to me, it's a little too far back. at 7 under. That being said, I mean, that's the group you're watching on Sunday, right? I mean, if you got a ticket in Fort Worth, you're rolling out and watching those three go at it. I mean, that's the fun grouping and the big names. I will say I was a bit disappointed with JT the first 2 days. I thought he played a solid round of golf today in those tougher conditions, and I would like to see him continue that tomorrow and get a top 10. These are building blocks for guys like Justin Thomas right now, and I think continuing that run of good play would be helped by a top 10 around a golf course like this that might not play into the best parts of his game.
Yeah, coming off of the PGA, a solid performance there. He feels like he's scaring it. He's dancing around the idea of it, and maybe a super low one like we've seen from JT in the past gets the job done on Sunday. Or more likely than not, 7 is in fact too far back. Take me to a number that you don't feel is too far back, Shane Bacon. Who wins on Sunday?
All right. Well, you listen to our Tuesday show. Like, I mean, I never pick the winner correctly. Ever get it right. I mean, I used to do a show, Moose, back in 2015. We called it Darts in the Dark, and I would literally have one of our producers throw a dart at a board. And I think about halfway through the season, he was better than me in terms of his picks and my picks. That being said, I picked Russell Henley to start the week. Now, I think he was second favorite on the odds board. This is a guy that is so good at finding fairways, leading the PGA Tour this season in finding fairways. We know how good of a ball striker Russell Henley is, and you look at how he played today. He hit 13 of 14 fairways and only shot 69. That will not be the case tomorrow. He continues to find fairways at Colonial. It's going to be sub 66 tomorrow for Henley. I think he gets the job done.
I would love to see it. The junkyard dog, Russell Henley, due for one here, a double bogey, a bit of the undoing in his Saturday round, but we'll see if he can stay in the mix on Sunday. Shane Bacon, can't wait to talk with you tomorrow.
Love the tie, Moose. You look great.
Thank you. We're doing some color blocking. I know he's a fan of this one. We're a fan of coverage on CBS and Paramount Plus. That we know. 3 Eastern time. Join us for the thrilling conclusion of the Chuck and post round right here on CBS Sports HQ.